The Flint Bay region. NBC 25 News at 11 starts right now.
All units west and Chambers. Get ambulances to that location.
We know this action was intended to break our spirit.
He's in the bike lane, clearly in the bike lane.
A 29-year-old male exited the vehicle brandishing 2 handguns.
He wasn't putting up a fight. He was on his knees, had his hands on his head.
This was an act of terror, a particularly cowardly act of terror.
And right now, security across New York State is being increased following a vehicle attack on a bike path near the World Trade Center. 8 people were killed, 11 were injured. Police say they shot and wounded the attacker, but he's expected to survive. Law enforcement sources have identified the driver as Sayfullo Saipov, a 29-year-old Uzbek national who came to the U.S. in 2010 and has a Tampa, Florida address, but was recently staying in New Jersey. And we're now learning the suspect left a note in the truck claiming he carried out the attack in the name of ISIS. A lot of new information has been coming out over the last hour about the suspect. Investigators also searching his home in Tampa, Florida. NBC's Jay Gray, he is live in New York City, and he has the very latest on this developing situation. Jay?
Good evening. We now know police found a handwritten note inside the suspect's rented truck where he pledged his allegiance and said he carried out the attack here for ISIS. That's just one element in an ongoing, expanding investigation here in Lower Manhattan.
We have multiple people on the ground from Chambers all the way up to Houston.
Victims of an afternoon attack along this Lower Manhattan bike path.
It happened out of nowhere. I was walking down the street, it was a normal day, and then just multiple gunshots, one after another. I mean, it was just completely unexpected.
This rented truck barreling over bike riders, then slamming into a school bus. 8 people were killed, 11 injured.
This was an act of terror, and a particularly cowardly act of terror aimed at innocent civilians.
Carried out, police say, by 29-year-old Sayfullo Saipov, an Uzbeki national. This video showing Saipov after he jumped from the truck, yelling Allah Akbar, according to police.
I saw this dude with 2 guns, and the guy with the 2 guns, for some reason, was running around. He was getting chased, and then all of a sudden, 4 shots went off, and we all just started running.
A patrol officer shooting and stopping the suspect. He's in Bellevue Hospital right now, and to this point has refused to speak to investigators there.
It's amazing that there were not.
Now, understanding it's still very early in this investigation, police say they do believe the suspect acted alone. Federal agents saying they see nothing in his past and no ties right now to any foreign terror organizations. That's the latest live here in New York. Now back to you.
Now, people who witnessed the attack took to social media, posting photos and videos of what they were seeing. Let's take a look right now. This photo that we have right here, taken just a short time ago, of the crime scene, someone's apartment. They can see out onto the crime scene right there. And now let's take a look at some video. This is the closest you could get, the closest the public could get to the crime scene. This photo taken at the corner of Chambers and River Terrace. Once again, this picture right here is pretty important because there was a Halloween parade tonight in New York City, and you can see all the security surrounding the parade. One more picture I believe we have right here. This is right after the attack happened. Someone who was injured is being cared for by the paramedics. And now let's take a live look over the crime scene. And you can see this is the school bus that was also involved during the chaos happened. There were no children hurt. There was several children on the bus, but the good news, none of them were hurt. It's still an active crime scene, and they will continue to investigate all of this throughout the night. We'll have the very latest on NBC 25 today. And we will continue to follow this story as it develops. So make sure to download the NBC 25 News app and wake up with NBC 25 starting at 5 a.m. for the very latest on this investigation. Well, turning now to the weather, and one of the coldest Halloween nights in recent memory. But that didn't stop people from trick-or-treating in Grand Blanc this evening. Some cool costumes right there. It takes more than some cold temperatures to keep kids inside on Halloween. Now, let's take a live look in Mount Pleasant. Looks like all the trick-or-treaters are inside right now eating their candy. Now, let's go to Chief Meteorologist Jamie Cagle.
Well, Dave, we did talk about this before. That really, is weather going to slow down any of the trick-or-treaters? That's a pretty big incentive, the candy that is. So we ended up with a cloudy and cold evening, but it was dry for trick-or-treaters out there. Hope everyone was able to stay warm. And we do have the clouds still moving by overhead. The temperatures, they're falling into the upper 30s. They'll pick up the pace and drop towards that 30-degree mark as we get closer to sunrise, as we will have some breaks in the cloud cover. We'll lose a blanket of cloud, and that'll let the temperatures fall a little quicker. Winds light right now, 5 to 10 miles an hour. And like I said, we're going to be in the upper 20s, low 30s overnight. There is a warm up or two in your storm-ready weather forecast, as well as a few more rounds of showers. I'll have those details in just a minute.
Thank you very much, Jamie. We'll check in with you. Well, this is a developing situation in Detroit right now. Police are searching for two men who have been shooting at them. This is happening near Hoover Street and State Fair Avenue on Detroit's east side. The good news, no officers were hit, but one officer was hurt. He has a leg injury. We don't know exactly how that happened. Anyone in the area is asked to stay inside as someone or some people are shooting at police officers in Detroit. Well, for the third time this month, Carman Ainsworth Schools is alerting parents about a stranger danger incident. The most recent incident happened around 4 yesterday afternoon near Atlantis Alternative High School. The district says an Atlanta student was walking on Graham Road when a vehicle approached him. Now, the driver offered the student a ride twice. The student then ran to a nearby library. The driver is described as an older white man with dark gray hair. He was driving a white four-door van and was alone in the vehicle. Flint Township Police are investigating the incident. Tonight, exactly 1 week before the recall election, Flint City Councilman and mayoral candidate Scott Kincaid is raising concerns about a perfectly legal donation to Mayor Karen Weaver's campaign. The money came from Rich Baird, an advisor to Governor Snyder and a Flint native. Right now, Baird is contracted employee with the state. Kincaid says the $1,000 donation sends a bad message.
I think it's very inappropriate for the mayor to be accepting money from someone that works for the governor, that's here in Flint, that was sent here in Flint because of the water crisis, to help us through this water crisis, to be supporting the mayor.
I really think that he's grasping at straws, and it's desperation, because he's going to throw anything up against the wall that he can.
Now, Tiffany Brown, a spokesperson for the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality, told us the state is aware of this campaign donation. She says, quote, as a private citizen, Rich Baird, has been supporting other causes and organizations to support his hometown. State Health and Human Services Director Nick Lyon will be back in court tomorrow. His preliminary hearing is continuing from last month. Lyon is being charged with misconduct in office related to the Flint water crisis and involuntary manslaughter in the death of 85-year-old Robert Skidmore of Genesee Township. Prosecutors say Legionnaire's disease led to Skidmore's death. Construction on a new pavilion in Bay City may start earlier than expected. The city's Downtown Development Authority held a special meeting this morning to approve the funds to build the pavilion and auxiliary buildings in Winona Park. Now, the remaining money will help with improvements to the Friendship Circle statue. The funds will come from the authority and the State Theater. There's no set date on when construction will begin. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has activated an emergency center to coordinate with local officials on a growing number of hepatitis cases that may be spreading beyond the southeastern corner of the state. The department says that since August of 2016, it has received reports of 457 confirmed cases of hepatitis A, including 18 deaths in 11 counties, including Lapeer, Huron, Sanilac, and Livingston. And across the nation tonight, senators ripped Facebook, Twitter, and Google for missing signs that Russia used their platforms to spread misinformation and propaganda during the 2016 election. Now, Facebook's chief lawyer was the target of most of the questioning, and he called the use of fake accounts to spread information reprehensible. Both Republicans and Democrats expressed concern that efforts to counter Russian propaganda is ineffective, and the fact that it was able to happen, inexcusable.
You can't put together rubles with a political ad and go like, those two data points spell out something bad.
Senator, it's a signal we should have been alert to, and in hindsight, it's one we missed.
Okay.
But Before the hearing, Facebook disclosed that Russian-linked accounts spread information during the 2016 campaign that was eventually viewed by 126 million users. House Republicans are delaying their rollout of a tax plan until Thursday amid a struggle to finalize details. Although they have settled on some details, such as a cut in the corporate tax rate and maintaining the top personal income tax rate for the wealthy, other elements still have to be resolved. President Trump says he wants the House to pass a tax reform bill by Thanksgiving and have it on his desk by Christmas. For the first time in more than 3 years, the U.S. economy grew at an annual rate of 3% in the third quarter. Our national correspondent, Michelle Macaluso, takes a look at the numbers and whether the country can sustain this trend.
Strong economic growth for America. The country's GDP, or gross domestic product, increased at an annual rate of 3% in the third quarter, the Commerce Department said Friday. The growth surpassed economists' expectations, who thought devastation caused by Hurricanes Harvey and Maria would slow down activity. Since natural disasters have complicated effects on growth numbers, says economist George Selgin.
The very immediate effect can be negative. It disrupts the supply lines, production. Then you get a spurt of activity. Again, this is a flow of activity, of spending on reconstruction and repair. And that boosts the numbers up.
The White House is taking credit for the growth.
The engine of the American economy is revving up.
Beautiful, Wisconsin. Wisconsin.
Can President Trump take credit for this growth?
No, not entirely. His administration could certainly have had such poor policies in place that we wouldn't even see such growth now.
Chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, Kevin Hassett, believes growth will be sustained if Congress passes a bill that cuts corporate taxes from 35% to 20%. He predicts GDP will increase over the next 10 years by 3 to 5%.
Businesses are optimistic again because they're not being festooned with costly regulations, and they see a big tax cut coming that's going to encourage them to locate activity here.
But some Democrats are skeptical of the White House's GDP prediction.
Putting money in the pockets of middle-class families is the most powerful driver for the economy.
House Republicans are expected to unveil their tax bill on Wednesday. The tax writing committees have been working behind closed doors, finalizing the details. On Capitol Hill, I'm Michelle Macaluso.
Well, tonight, taking Halloween to the extreme.
I'm a normal family other than Halloween.
We'll show you how one Bay City family is making trick-or-treaters earn their candy.
You're watching NBC 25 News at 11 with Dave Bondy, Chief Meteorologist Jamie Cagle, and Sports Director Tom Eschen. You're watching NBC 25 News at 11.
Your ghosts and goblins may be tired out or wired up from trick-or-treating tonight, but in Bay City, there's one home that takes Halloween to a completely different level. NBC 25's Drew Moore shows us how one night a year, a seemingly normal family is transformed into something much, much darker.
Meet Diane Potts and her family. For 364 days out of the year,
Kind of a normal family other than Halloween.
but on Halloween, everything changes. From uncles and aunts to even a boyfriend, this night is a family affair.
When I hear them scream to the top of their lungs, and they run down the block like 20 miles an hour, that I'm like, yeah, we did it.
Would you like some popcorn?
Diane's daughter Samantha says the decorations are always, well, a little over the top.
We have our climbing zombies. We have our scary clown in the window. We have our zombies in the window. We have our clowns, of course.
And let's not leave out the crazy clown running around with the chainsaw. So as another year of the Nightmare on Henry Street wraps up, the family is already working on next year's plan.
We just love the scare. We love to watch the kids have a good time and have something to talk about.
Now, this isn't the only time the family goes all out for a holiday on Christmas. If you drive by here on Henry Street, Christmas lights will be across the entire yard, and as you're driving by, you can actually hear the music at Synchronized 2 on the radio. Reporting from the scariest house in Bay City, Drew Moore, NBC 25 News.
Drew is still running away from that house. Wow. Well, many families get to spend Halloween at home together. Others aren't as fortunate.
Yeah, you're a cute little bee.
New mother Kristen Johnson is spending the holiday at Covenant's NICU, watching over her beautiful baby girl Frances, who was born 3.5 months early. Now, to help the NICU families create memories for their baby's first Halloween, some of the nurses made costumes on their own time, small enough to fit in the palm of their hand. Frances got the best of both worlds. She got to dress up as Minnie Mouse and a bumblebee.
The nurses here are very much into taking the time to do special little things for all the little ones here. So, and it's not just the costumes. Like, you can see her signs that they're always making, and they truly get very attached to the kids here. So.
Yeah, it's really cool. Good for them. Frances's mom says they are hoping their baby girl will be ready to come home around her due date, January 1st.
Now, your certified NBC 25 storm ready forecast.
Good evening, Mid-Michigan. A cold Halloween, a cloudy Halloween, but nonetheless, it was at least a dry Halloween, at least when the trick-or-treaters were out. Skynet camera, downtown Flint. Current temperature of 36 degrees, reporting clear skies. We will get some breaks in the clouds, and we should be mostly cloudy for most of the evening. As we get closer to sunrise, we should see a little thinning of the clouds. That's going to let that 36 probably turn into a 29 or a 30 towards morning. Feels like 31 degrees outside with that light breeze, and you take a look overhead and you can see that we do have a fair amount of cloud cover still moving in from the southwest direction, but dry all across the lower peninsula right now. Take a look at the temperatures, those southwest winds. That's going to help things out. We actually have a warm up for the next couple of days, but we will also have northwest winds coming along down the road. So it's a bit of a temperature roller coaster. The good news is we are on the climb right now, and we will see temperatures get above normal, just barely though. Expecting a 57, a 58. On your Thursday, you can see the numbers do drop again, but a little bit of recovery first part of the week. Sunday and into Monday will at least be in the 50s, but we do have some mid-40s expected a little further down the road. It's that time of year. Here is your Futurecast, and again for the rest of the night, just anticipating dry conditions, mostly cloudy skies, some breaks in the clouds. As we get to sunrise, 8 o'clock, shouldn't be anything out there to impede your morning commute, even into the afternoon. Looking fantastic. Dinner hour, no problems. But we're going to get to about 9 or 10 o'clock. The showers, they start to come in from the west and southwest. Most of this is going to be rain. However, as you look to the northwest, Roscommon County, Clare County, Ogama County, that's where we may find a little bit of snowfall. Get into that morning commute for Thursday, no problems there. But mid to late afternoon, here comes another round of showers through the area. This time we should have just rain, as we are going to have some pretty warm temperatures ahead of a front that comes through, and then we start to drop the numbers as we get into Friday. But snowfall forecast, again, nothing too terribly impressive there. We may see a little additional snowfall, but just to the northwest of our area. So again, nothing too alarming in terms of snowfall. A lot of wet roads, maybe a little bit of snowflakes sticking in the yards on Thursday. Get into Friday, there go the temperatures again. Heaviest rain Saturday and Sunday along and south of the Tri-Cities. It looks like it will be rain, and then maybe some lingering showers Monday morning, turning the clocks back this weekend. That usually gets a lot of people excited.
Yeah, I like that.
How about you, Tom?
Another hour of sleep. Can't go wrong with that.
No, great times.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good times.
Gives me time to stay up late for those late college football games.
There we go.
There you go.
What are we talking about tonight?
Oh, we got some college football to talk, kind of. Okay. I guess so. But college football coach Mark D'Antonio, he had a conversation with The Rock today. You ever talk to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson?
Never met The Rock.
I can smell what he's cooking though.
We'll show you why they spoke today. Plus this.
It was kind of humbling my freshman year to just kind of like sit back and realize that, you know, you've actually got to work, become a better player.
How a pair of twins at Genesee Christian are proof that hard work pays off in championships and life. The path to greatness next on NBC 25.
During the game with NBC 25 Sports. Brought to you by Gerber Chevrolet Saginaw.
Good evening, I'm Tom Eschen. The Red Wings season was getting pretty scary for a while. They lost 6 straight before snapping that streak against Florida on Saturday. Tonight, back at Little Caesars Arena, hoping to get back to 500 too. The Coyotes with just 1 win this season. Jimmy Howard back in goal, a 5th straight game in there. Less than 2 minutes in, Gustav Nyquist snipes one from the high slot. 1-0 Wings. A little bit later, it's Nicholas Kronwall to Luke Glendening, 2-0 Wings. Look at the offense go. Arizona would add one in the second, but then this play. Dylan Larkin, Andreas Athanasiou, Anthony Mantha finish it. The Wings 6-1. They win tonight 5-3. Flint's Miles Bridges on the cover of Sports Illustrated this week. Bridges, one of the favorites for preseason player of the year. The Spartans, one of the favorites to win the title as well.
Explain every natural phenomenon.
Let me turn this off.
Yeah, we saw that last night. And since then, The Rock and Mark D'Antonio talking a little on Twitter. The Rock saw it and gave Coach props. Then D'Antonio gave him a song lyric response. It's all from the movie Moana. The Rock then giving him some inspiration. It ended with Coach D'Antonio inviting him to East Lansing, something I didn't think I'd see today. No word yet on if The Rock will visit East Lansing this season. We move on to the path to greatness now, connecting young athletes with their future goals. The two-time defending Class D state champion Genesee Christian soccer team will continue their quest for a three-peat tomorrow night in the state semifinals. They're on the verge of a dynasty, and that's because of athletes like the DeBreck twins, who are proof that hard work pays off. Evan DeBreck is in the black sweatshirt. Ryan DeBreck is in the gray sweatshirt. I tell you that because these two are twins, and you probably should know who is who throughout the course of this piece. Now, these two juniors made their competitive soccer debut for Genesee Christian as freshmen a couple years ago. They stepped into a program on the verge of back-to-back state titles, and that's not easy.
I've never been one to be on a team to just kind of sit the bench and just watch things. I've always been in the mix of the things, so it was kind of humbling my freshman year to just kind of sit back and realize that, you've actually got to work, become a better player.
Being in that same boat, the twins got to work, using each other as motivation.
It definitely, if I see him getting better, I definitely want to get even better than that, and it just keeps building up.
Good job, fellas. Good job. Here we go.
Their coach, Doug Anderson, noticed, and a year after sitting out for the most part as freshmen, that DeBrecks became key factors in their second straight title last year.
If you work in the offseason and you work hard throughout the year and you get better as a soccer player, then there is the opportunity for you to play more. And these guys hardly played at all their freshman year, and then they played quite a bit more actually their sophomore year.
Just continue to work hard all summer, just getting together, coming to the fields, so we could have our chance to prove that we can also make a run throughout the playoffs.
The success speaks for itself, but their play also helped their coach tell them apart.
Usually he goes by cleats, whoever, they just, you can always see him looking down, looking at what color cleats we're wearing, see who we are.
Obviously one plays defense, one plays offense. It makes it a little bit easier for me, but the more I deal with them, the more I can tell them apart. I literally used to tell them by their cleats, but nowadays it's a little bit easier, especially after yelling at them all the time, tell which one's different.
Coach Anderson hopes their younger teammates recognize the work these two have put in on the field, but also what it's taught them off of it.
I'm trying to train these guys to be, soldiers for Christ. It's kind of like our motto at our school, and I'm trying to help them become better husbands, better employees, and to become better people, and just better dads. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I think that's what I'm called to do. That's why I'm at Genesee Christian, and if the only thing I teach them is sports, then I think I've done a disservice to them.
Life lessons they'll use for a long time.
Just to work hard and realize that if you work hard, there will be results, whether how far down the road there would be. If you put in the work, you will get results out of it.
An attitude that wins championships in sports and in life. That's why the DeBreck twins and the Genesee Christian soccer team are on the path to greatness. Your winter sports start next week, so if you know someone who's on the path to greatness, let us know. Find me on social media or send me an email. We play that tonight instead of Wednesday, which is our usual night, because we have something special for you tomorrow. Wednesday, 100 days until something very important happens in the world.
I'll wait. I won't say anything.
Yes. Something to get excited about.
Really big.
Yes.
Well, something to get very excited about. Jamie Cagle is coming in next with a look at our forecast.
Exciting.
Yes, very exciting. And welcome back, everyone. A great night of trick-or-treating. A little cool, but the kids could take it. They got all their candy now. They should be happy.
Yeah, it stayed dry out there. I mean, you had to deal with the cold, yes, but at least we stayed dry. Tomorrow, looking like another dry day up until about 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening. Another round of rain coming through the area. And when you take a look at the 7-day forecast, there may be some flurries mixed in Thursday and for Saturday, especially for our northwestern counties. And turning the clocks back this weekend.
We like that. We do.